Okay. There we go. My face cam is fixed. Oh, I have my own stream on. Or do I? Should be okay. Alright. Are you in here, Guk?
Yo, what up?
Starting. Come watch live stream. Okay.
You put me in spectator?
Yes. Slash GMSP. Get up crazy. There you go. All right. All right. Is the other one going? Okay. The other match is going too. Sweet.
You did GMSP me again. When I TP'd it, kicked me out.
There you go. Are you fixed?
Thank you. Yeah.
Alrighty. Alrighty. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna put this in here and then we'll get rolling. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here watching an open qualifier match as my camera continues to give me some issues. But an open qualifier match between Poop and Moggers. Two new teams compared to last season. And I also do have some very special news. I am joined today from Get Up Crazy himself to help, maybe commentate a little bit of these games and everything. Special guest, Team 1 player. So how's it going, Get Up Crazy?
Going pretty good. What about yourself?
Good, man. Good. Excited to watch some fun games today. We saw a couple before this that wrapped up just before we started the stream here. So we're going to see, because this game right now that we're watching, the winner of this goes on to the final today with a chance to move on into the main event. So, with the first initial thought, looking at both these teams, Get Up Crazy, what do you think? Who do you think has the advantage as of now?
At the start of it, I would have thought that Moggers would have the advantage, but I'm watching these adjusts. It's looking pretty interesting. They're just spamming up and down. Doesn't seem like there's real strategy. It's just chaos right now, but hopefully they can clean this up, fix it, and I think they got a good chance at beating them.
I would agree. I think you have to be very, very strategic with your adjusts, to say the least. I think, we talked a lot last stream that you want to kind of be halfway into the buffer, about 13 minutes remaining on the raid phase, and we saw a lot of different adjusting strategies last season overall. It seemed like Kexit04 was definitely the most efficient, and one of his main strategies is going down for a while, going up for a while, and trying to split up the patchers as much as necessary. You did play against Kexit in a couple matches and the championship. So, I want to ask, how was that strategy to y'all? Was it something very difficult to play against, or was it just something you quite haven't figured out yet?
Yeah, I had the honor to play against Kexit twice, and his adjusting, it could seem a lot like this, a lot sporadic, but his up and down is very controlled, whereas what I'm seeing right now is just up and down, not really a lot of communications going on. The way Kexit's doing it, though, in his games is perfect. They communicate perfect, forcing up and down. They keep a forcer high. They beam you low, you drop down low, and then they just beam you high. It's perfect adjusts, perfect communication on their side.
Yeah, I would definitely say it seemed like that. That's kind of, we saw, Kexic's team overall, Hemo, was not one of the preseason favorites. And, Kexit's adjusting can definitely be a very big reason attributed to them, winning the entire season. So it will be interesting to see how people go about now. Now we're seeing a little bit more progress with the up and down method. Maybe it's even a little more controlled, but we'll see how this continues. According to you, Get Up Crazy, if you take a look at the rosters of both these teams, who are you looking to see a strong performance out of from a personal standpoint?
Well, I do have some connections on both of these, or actually one of these teams is Skilljoe and Swiss Cheese, so I'm looking at both of those players, hoping to see them perform, but I don't know if Skilljoe is playing. I think it's just Swiss.
It could
so I'm
just
looking
be,
to see Swiss have a good performance.
Yeah, it could just be
well.
Swiss in at the moment. Maybe Skilljoe might be coming in to patch when they switch.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another good talking point. Last season we had, the rosters that were Skilljoe, last map winner that is, and Swiss Cheese, both were on Team 1. They've since been dropped from their team in place of some other people. So that's how they kind of find themselves here today, playing in this open qualifier to hopefully try and make the main event again. So, while we wait and watch some, more shots come through and see how deep they can get in the next few minutes, tell me about how your team's feeling for this season coming up. You made some changes. You have Good and W on the squad as well as WTF Vape. Tell me how you're feeling about the new signings and the trades you've done to help your chances this season.
I'm feeling pretty confident. I don't want to speak too early, but I like how our team is looking, and a lot of other teams got a lot better too. In the offseason, there was a lot of really good players in the draft pool, but I feel like getting WTF Vape as an adjuster and getting Gooden and Dell was a big leap for us in terms of skill.
That is a good point. I think Gooden especially really showed his worth in the tournament last season, so that's definitely a good pickup. Your first match, as of now, is on Friday. It is a rematch of the final, a very anticipated matchup between yourself and Hemo. How are you feeling, to play them this time, having a different looking roster and Hemo's looking, mostly the same?
I still want to go out there. I'm still trying to go out there and win. Hemo, they are one of the only teams that did really remain the same. There's not much changes to their roster. I think they got Justeri.
They did.
I don't know if I don't know if he's there. He might be like a moral support, but maybe that's what they need. You never know.
That could be right.
Himo, very good team. Their 4-man really good at patching. You got Slavs, he could patch really well. Drip, really good forcer, really good patcher. Kexit, best adjuster, really good at pre-patching. And then Moff, you already know what he does. Got the finals MVP last season.
He did. Very really impressive performance out of them. Like I said, they weren't a preseason favorite, but quickly showed why they were the most dominant team. We are getting some chatter from the chat right now for the stream. So I'm gonna relay some questions for yourself. Get Up Crazy. There's Bloodfire has seemed to have potentially the strongest offseason with the drafting Mabs. They have Dur as well, and W Shadow too. They had a big trade to get the first overall pick, and then had a couple picks and a big signing in Dur. Tell me how you're feeling against that team, because I know a lot of people are starting to feel some pressure, just preseason even, from being able to compete with them.
Don't even get me started on the draft shenanigans. I have my theories and conspiracies, and I think them getting Mabs and Shadow is easily the biggest win out of any team. And then signing Dur, really good pickup. His patching can be a bit underrated. I've patched with Dur before. He knows what he's doing. Easily one of the best forcers as well, but Shadow and Mabs in one draft is kind of insane.
I agree. Getting both of them are very, very strong players, high ratings, in the database. So we'll see how that goes, but we'll put our focus back onto this game between Poop and Moggers at the moment. Some decent progress being made so far. They're about 2.5 chunks off with 11 minutes to go. This is a pace that we definitely, saw being super beneficial in the previous qualifier. So with the progress, that's how it's going right now on Mogger's side. How do you think they're gonna, end up in this match right now? Get up crazy.
The main thing I look at is I see how deep they are in high, and they're already deep. They're already 5 chunks in at around 240, and I think that is really big because if you look low, it's pretty opened up. Anything under like 210 right now is open. Not saying you want to go there now, but when you do want to start to use those chords and open it up a bit more, those will be there, and that's why breaching and beaming through high is so important. That's why you got to patch it.
Yeah, I definitely stand by that as well. I think this is a good, start from Mogger's side as well. I think we saw Poop be very susceptible to some fast breaches last season, especially when they would play against the main cup teams, which can be expected, being an open qualifier team and all that. But they are incredibly deep at the moment and continuing just to hit fresh. 10 minutes to go.
Oh, good chord.
I think it is going to be very, chaotic for Poop's communications right now. Being in a situation like this, Get Up Crazy, I don't know if you found yourself too much similar to this during the actual cup matches, but what would you say like Poop need to do to kind of try and rally something to hold a lot longer than what it's looking like right now?
From past experiences, this actually has happened to us. In our first game with Himo, we were holding very well, and then they just drilled us high. So I think for Moggers or Poop right now, they just got to stick to their calm, stick to the game plan. You just cannot panic. You got to have someone high, got to have someone low. You just got to get those blocks placed.
Definitely agree. The biggest thing is just packing up the open spots. As you see here, deep into the buffer, there is a lot of open spots down low, and we continue on through the buffer. It really doesn't look super clear, but they're doing a great job finding chords at the moment. And if they have so much open low right now and only 2 chunks remaining on this buffer, and they are getting really deep and really wide too. Yeah, a great chord there. Being this deep and this wide, it's about a 10 wide area. How efficient is that from a rating perspective if you're able to get super wide throughout the whole buffer?
More or less not about the shot catching, but the pre-patching. When it's wide like this, it's hard to pre-patch where the actual split is. So widening up like this, where you see these pre-patches where the shot is right now, they're just not catching it because of how wide the split is, and they're just continuing to beam as they're 1 chunk off.
That's a great point. Wire trying to find someone to force at the moment, and he does with 8 off 1 as they continue to drill through the top of this buffer. Swiss Cheese making it go through. Swiss Cheese did not find a lot of time forcing with Team 1 last cup, but he's definitely making his presence felt at this point, and so we're going to see how this continues at the moment. I believe they have Monty on the adjust, still several Ys available to get through, and they are drilling even higher and higher. Let's get back to that Swiss Cheese you mentioned. As the match was starting, you wanted to see a good performance out of him. Based on what you're seeing so far, do you think he's been, impressive up to this point, holding the flag for Moggers at the moment?
I would say he started very strong, but he's kind of landed flat, but that's what tends to happen. The buffer opens more, there's just more to run, more room to run, so it's harder to force, but from what I've seen so far, he's been doing pretty good. He didn't really get to force a whole lot with us, he was adjusting, but it's nice to see him in a different role. Definitely, and that's the beauty of these open qualifiers. You're able to see a lot of different people taking on a lot of different roles, as Get Up Crazy said, and seeing what they're best suited for. But they're continuing to drill on through here. Less than a chunk remaining. 8 off 1 trying to get some patches off. He's going to get a few. Swiss Cheese forcing it through. Just mentioned him. Chud trying to get some patches, but is forced by Swiss Cheese. New guy on the scene is going to force around as well, trying to make something work. Right Cheeks getting a lot of patches off as well. This continues to get scarier and scarier for Poop. Looking low, Get Up Crazy. There seems to be a lot of open spots. Do you think it's important to try and go for a breach immediately right now, or do you think you keep trying to just get as deep as high as you can? I say you want to put the pressure on them. Anything under 207 right now gets you in the base. There are 6 walls off. That's 18 seconds. And I feel like if they really wanted to, they could breach now. I don't really see anybody patching low. I say that, they're continuing to hit fresh 4 walls off.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you're forcing first, you got to put the pressure on the patching team next, and you just got to breach as quick as you can.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's not a lot of benefit in trying to just hold off on breach cores. They're continuing to go through now, though. Only a couple walls off. Maugers very deep right now, but a shot is caught mid-shot. It doesn't really matter as another one comes through and breaches this. They're on the base wall, and they're in. Just like that. A 14-minute breach, to say the least, and they will swap sides. Definitely a scary look on the side of Poop at the moment. They found themselves in a similar situation last qualifier for season 1 when they lost to WTF Vape and his team, Monkeys that was, and they were able to work their way through the losers bracket. So what do you think the keys are for Poop to try and flip this around and raid within the time that they're given?
Well, before I leave, I walk my dog real quick. I'll try and answer your question really quickly. They just got a kind of short-term memory. Just put that behind you. You did what you could, did good. 14-minute breach, not what you really want to see when you're patching first, but you can go back out there. You're going to go forest now. Just go out there and do your best.
I agree. Well, we will have a few minutes now until the next match starts. Get Up Crazy gonna walk his dog as he should. I'll get to the chat now for a moment. Why is this? I don't understand why my camera keeps unfocusing. This is incredibly annoying. Hello, can you work? Maybe it needs a little dusting. Oh, kinda. It wants to. Question for iTop: are you drinking, and what are you drinking? I don't actually know if I have. I should have something. I might pop open a beer for maybe the next game or maybe part of this one. Why is this? Okay, I'm back. There we go. Maybe, kinda. I don't know. I'll go. Let me see what I got in the fridge. Slavs. Slavs, I've got good news. I've got a Coors Light. I've actually got 2 of them that I could get through. Let's go ahead. Pour this out. It's kind of hard to... Oh my gosh. Let's let this settle for a second. Might need the second, to be honest. It's hard to pour at home the glasses I have. Hairline looking fries. Fuck you. Fuck you, pal. I'm gonna grab the other beer. All right. I'm glad you're going to drink one with me, Slavs. We're getting this match started right now. Let's see how they get this rolling. We'll have to see what happens in the other game, too, at some point. I really need my beer to settle. Raid is started. Just under 14 minutes they have to breach. We're going to see how this goes. Continuing to make their way through. Slash GMS. GMSP. All right. Is there any way to mute someone from a YouTube live stream? I will need to mute Carson if he joins. Alrighty, 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 people patching. All good. Poop getting on through. They don't have 6. 1. Last map winner. Where's their other teams? New guys, 2. Not seeing. Where are their other players? They don't even have 4 patching. New guy. Last map winner. I don't even... Who's the other players? I'm very confused. Swiss cheese. Looks like he's patching too. Who's the 4th? Njigba as well. I don't even see Njigba. Going through right now. Poop is making a good bit of progress. Last
Hello, hello, hello.
winner. Hello. Having some... What is wrong with... Bro. Hold on. Wrong one. Hold on a second. Let me fix this real quick. All right. Okay, my game capture needs to work. Should be okay. There we go. All right. Let's settle down now. All right. Raid is restarted. Why do I hear myself? Wait, do you have my stream up? No. Hello? Oh.
Yeah, you're tripping, bro.
Why was I hearing myself? No, I can hear myself. Wait, do you have it on?
Nah, I have you muted.
Wait. No, it's coming through from... Is it? Wait, mute real quick.
Got you, bro.
Check. 1, 2. It's coming through on your end for some reason. Is it your headset?
Oh, I can hear you. Hold on, I'll fix it.
Okay. Alrighty. 8 minutes to breach. What? Wait. It's still coming. Why is that?
How's it?
Hello. Check.
Hello, bro.
GMSP. There we go. Okay. All right. I think we're good. All right. A little bit of technical difficulties. That's okay. 8 minutes remaining on this right now. Let me... hold on. Wait. I need to figure this out real quick. He's in the raid. Set. Okay. /spec. Wait. /spec. Leave. /spec. Okay. Actually, let's just go ahead and check how this is doing. So we had 15 minutes ago. Okay, we'll be able to spec that afterwards. Gark, are you still in the match, or do I need to TP you back?
You need to TP me back.
/TP get up crazy high top.
And then re-spectator.
There you go.
Thank you.
You good?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, a little bit of technical difficulties. That's okay. We're gonna keep this rolling. 7 minutes now for Poop to breach Moggers. I don't really think they're gonna be able to. You know, what would it take for Poop, in your opinion, Get Up Crazy, to actually be able to find a breach in this scenario?
It's set up good. They are deep. Their deepest high almost, but it's already looking pretty packed up. They need to try and get a couple kills, bring them low, and then beam high a bunch. But it's looking pretty rough. But it's still definitely doable.
I would agree. It's certainly possible, not probable, but we'll see, to say the least. Last map winner, getting a lot of patches off. So is Skill Joe, and you know, remind me of this: was Skill Joe able to get rotated in on the patch side of things at all, actually, for Team 1 during last season? Do you remember?
He was our first game versus Himo. He was there patching for us, and we lost that game by 6 walls. And that was actually our closer game with them, so maybe he was the difference. Maybe
Could have
not,
been.
But Skill Joe, definitely a really good patcher. He's good at getting those blocks placed down. Really good at that. He was really nice to have on our team. He's always on, always active, always bugging the team to get on. He's a really good team player.
That is good to hear. He has certainly shown his worth. We did say, you know, just on paper, this team is the superior team. It's seeming like that's being shown right now. but we're going to see just how this continues. Skill Joe, which is last map winner, and Swiss Cheese both were Cup players last season that were drafted originally. So should be, you know, a step above the rest, to say the least. But we're going to see how this continues, right? Cheeks trying to find a force. It's the same with Poopy Stinky Head and Splay Basils. And a new guy on the scene trying to get some patches off right now. Back down low. 5 minutes remaining. They are about 3 chunks off. What do you think they have to try and do adjust-wise in order to make something work to where they can get a breach?
Gonna keep it honest, adjust-wise, they gotta hope for a miracle. You're around the 5-minute mark, you're 3 chunks in, but that 3 chunks in is under the emerald block, so you kind of got to get higher than that, especially when you're only 5 minutes left. But they're doing pretty good. They just hit fresh 226. It got caught, adjusted fresh again. So they're doing pretty good right now, but I would like to see them doing this a bit higher.
I agree. I also just realized my stream was unlisted for the longest time, but it's public now, everybody, so we're good. Thankfully, I think most people were probably joining via the link, so it should have been okay. But all right. Mars game. I don't think I will do that. All right, 4 minutes to go. Let's see how this continues. Going on through 208 now, trying to get some more progress in. Can they get enough? I don't think they're going to be able to. Like I said before, though, Poop is familiar with the lower bracket of the qualifier. They will still probably be a favorite to advance once tomorrow comes around if they do lose this. But right now, Moggers seeming like a very, a superior opponent right now. I will ask you this, Get Up Crazy, just from what you've seen from Moggers right now. Last Cup season, all the Open Qualifier teams struggled heavily to get any sort of result against a Cup team. What do you think? Or do you think Moggers is going to have any ability to compete with a Cup team if they were to qualify?
I mean, it's just a rough position they're getting put in. All these great players drafted into one team, especially for the subs that also get drafted. It just takes away a lot of the star talent that can happen to be on these Open Qualifier teams. W Shadow, star talent player, was on one of the Open Qualifier teams. Sadly, couldn't make it to the Cup games, but I would have liked to see how he'd have performed with, what was it, the Monkeys I think he was in?
Yes, yes, he was.
Moggers, not to be corny, looks like they're kind of mogging the competition right now, but I don't think this will keep up if they are to make it to the Cup tournament.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be difficult for an Open Qualifier team to find results against a Cup team, but there's always, people that aren't, available to play for certain games and all this type of stuff, once the matches begin. So they might be able to get, a result against somebody, given some favorable circumstances. But the other thing too, which is different this season compared to last, is each team is playing 5 games instead of the 3 that were last season. 2 of the games they will be playing from the other side, the other region per se, the other group. And the qualifier teams are going to play at least one match against each other and another match against the lowest rated Cup team from last season. So someone will get a win at some point. And so we'll see how that continues. But Mogger is continuing to hold pretty well right now. Swiss Cheese holding right on the shot. And we're about a minute and a half away. I don't think it's actually even physically possible for this to happen. Let's see, we're about 24 walls off. 3 seconds per wall is about 90 seconds. I don't think it's even possible to happen at this point. So tell me how you feel overall about Poop and Mogger's performance for this match.
Well, Poop is pretty comfortable in this position. I believe this happened to them last Open Qualifier, went to the losers bracket, so nothing they haven't been in before. Moggers, you're talking about the lower competition players. I think there is a world where it's possible that they sneak a win on a team, but if they play the way they are now, they are looking pretty strong right now. They're looking pretty coordinated. I like what I'm seeing out of them.
I agree.
It looks like Skilljoe is lagging, but doesn't really matter. They're still holding them.
Yeah, 30 seconds left, and it looks like this is going to be just about the end of Poop's Road in the winner's bracket. They will have another chance in the lower bracket tomorrow, which is how they qualified for the Cup in the first place last season. So we're going to see. However, somebody did mine through several walls for Moggers, and there's just a straight fresh chord. I don't think it's going to be enough time, but they could have tried to do something there. 10 seconds to go. A valiant effort from Poop. Moggers is going to move on and make it to the final today, which will be shown hopefully very soon. Let's go ahead and see if we can spectate the other match going on. 7 minutes to go, and this is even closer right now. Let's go ahead and see if we can get some commentary on this. There we go. Are you in spectator now?
Yes, sir. All
right. Well, this is coming down to the wire, to say the least. We are, let's see, this is the second, flip per se, and there is only several walls remaining. Let's see who is doing what. Drexern right now. I think Drexern's team, red team, is forcing. They're trying to make it known that they are the superior team. This is, both these teams were randomly generated as part of the Open Qualifier process, so not something we would expect to be very strong, but we're going to see as Team Red, which, yeah, I believe Team Red is Saturn, if I'm not mistaken. Saturn is drilling this base right now, only a couple walls away. Arspring getting some patches on Velted. Let's see what's going on. Ribos doing his best right now. Ribos probably going to have to carry the boats on this team. Trying to get several patches off, getting what he can at the moment. Still 6 minutes remaining to patch, though. If we continue to see some things made, just looking at both sides, not looking at the result at the moment, who would you say just have the superior roster, from a on-paper standpoint?
From a paper standpoint, I would say I do like the Forcing team right now. I do have a lot of ties with them. They got Frost, VVM, Finn, Manuel, a lot of my friends from factions. But to talk about the patching team and what they kind of got to do as a strategy, I've seen this held before. They are baseball right now, so it's not looking pretty good. It's pretty open, but you kind of got to switch the strategy up. You got to take less people off high, and you just got to pray that you can place blocks low, but I don't think they're going to get it done. There's a lot of time left, 6 minutes.
I agree. Now, Woodman is doing a very good job patching this up right now. That is what is needed to happen. Like you said, this has something similar has been done before in some cup games where something like this being on base wall has been held for an extremely long amount of time. But we're going to see Ribos getting a lot of patches off. He's demanding the most attention from Drexern and Pin right now. Let's see if he's going to be able to carry them that much. I do think it is a surprise. Someone in the chat said Ribos is underrated. I agree. I think he definitely should have made a cup team, been drafted. Potentially this performance might be able to get him drafted next season. But we're going to see how this continues to go, because like you said, when you breach and you can't immediately get the base wall destroyed to claim the core, it can get a little scary, because you don't have to patch as much area the deeper you get. So we're going to see how this continues right now, because they have not breached yet. 4 minutes to go, still plenty of time, but we're going to see how this continues. Ribos trying to get some more patches off, but they are drilling all the way through now. I don't see any patchers for blue team right now. Woodman trying to wait for the shot to come to him. I'm not sure what he's doing right now. He got to get out there and get in the action. Drexern,
oh boy, this is looking rough.
Trying to find somebody right now. Back down low. It's not going to get to Woodman. It's held before. I guess if you could just stick Woodman in the back in full wall, then that'll work too. But Velted trying to get some patches off. Arspring giving him some business at the moment, trying to get them done. Let's see what's going on now. Pregnant Teen died to Drexern just like that. A strong performance. We saw Drexern in the qualifiers last season, and he had a very strong team. A team I actually thought should have beat poop on paper. Maybe not on paper, but compared to the performance they were giving, weren't quite able to make it done and qualify for the Cup. But Drexler trying again this season, and so far so good. But they got to breach, because we didn't see what happened the first raid, but I'm going to assume a breach occurred, and, it won't be based on wall. We're going to see what happens. Woodman dead just like that. Drexler and Pin trying to force this one through, and they're continuing to make some progress now high. Let's see if they can continue to make this shot work or not. Velta trying to get some more patches off at the moment. We haven't seen a lot of Ribos recently. Let's see where he is. Right here at the bottom. Not sure what happened there. I think he lagged a little bit, but getting some patches off. Ribos, very strong patcher, very strong shot catcher, but he is demanding a lot of attention from that squad. Not sure what the adjust is right now. I don't know if I really agree with that widening. They only have 3 minutes to go. What do you think is the strategy from the red team right now to breach? Because every minute that goes by, it looks, less and less likely.
I'm seeing many chords, and I'm sure you're seeing them too, but I don't know if they're just trying to save them, trying to be patient, but sometimes patient can come bite you in the back sometimes. You can get screwed by this patience, and they're going high again. They're confident in their ability to get into this base, but sometimes I think you do just need to get in the base. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Think that, as it looked like they might right here, Pregnant Team catching it fresh, beautifully done.
Very close right there. They are definitely, not, being a little more patient than would be expected. I suppose if we knew what happened on the first raid phase, this would be a little more easy to tell, because if they just need to get to the, a couple walls off to win, then that makes a little more sense. But I strongly, wouldn't believe that the entire thing didn't happen. But I'm getting word in right now that the first raid was held the entire 20 minutes. So in that scenario, this is going to come down to the wire then. They don't need to breach. They are as close as you can get, though, with basically all walls broken. It looks like they broke here as well, but there's 2 walls that have not been broken high enough. So we're going to see, but this is broken. This is broken right here. They cannot afford this. This is a mental mistake, to say the least, if they do not get this shot through a little bit further, because this is going to count against their total. I wonder how many walls they were able to defend on the first attempt, but they're continuing to try to make some progress. Regardless of what happens, an incredible hold, to say the least. They were on base wall with 6 minutes to go, and I don't know if they're going to be able to breach.
I don't know. I'm seeing multiple open fresh chords right now. I've gotten word that it is Z Madigo on the adjust, so might be some going on. But this is a beautiful hold. They definitely could be breached right now, but I think their strategy has been pretty interesting. They've had Woodman fresh. I would like to see him getting a lot more blocks placed, but he's full patcher right now.
He's trying to get some full walling off. The biggest thing I think is they just need to place 2 blocks right here, because this is a whole wall that didn't happen. Let's see. Did they forget to fill? The cannon's not coming in. Now it is now. I wonder what happened there. 20 seconds to go. Is somebody going to patch this hole? Because if it's a 1 wall difference, it's going to be because of this. I really wonder. Pregnant Teen not noticing right now, but 8 seconds remaining. Let's see. This is going to be very close, I'd have to assume. Let's see. Team Red defended 3 walls. Wait. Oh my goodness, a 2-wall difference. Holy cow, Team Red wins and moves on to the finals today. What an intense match. We did know that they didn't breach, and so that was the important part. But if they patch this up right here, that's 2 walls, and they were so close to getting a third potentially. Oh my goodness, that would have been close. Goodness gracious. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is take a real quick break, because I want to try and get these going as quick as possible. But we're going to try and get the finals going right now. So I'm going to go on a quick break, and we're going to get this started, and then we'll be back in just a moment. turn that on. Get a cheeky little ping. All right. At everyone, final match today, Saturn versus Poop. Come tune in. Commentators at Get Up Crazy, X at Zeppin, X myself.
That's Aura.
Aura. Okay. All right. What we are going to do first is drag in a both team captains and do a little coin flip to see who raids first. So let me go ahead and drag Clubster in and then get Drexer in. Oh, did I miss? I did. Drexer. Okay.
What the fuck?
All right. We're going to do a coin flip in just a moment. Drexer and Clubby. First off, congratulations to both your teams for making it to the final today. Reminder, the winner of this match moves on to the Open Qualifier 1 spot in the main cup season. So a lot on the line. Clubby, or Drexer, excuse me, you have the option to select heads or tails.
Heads.
All right, I'm about to put it on the stream. Let's make sure I can show it. I am flipping right now. Heads or tails? It is heads. Drexer, do you want to defend or raid first?
Can you drag me? Give me 15 seconds in the other call.
Okay, that's
Drag me
fine.
back.
Y'all can figure it out. Okay. Drexer's team wins the coin toss, and we are here at a very, very lovely day for our final match today between Poop and Saturn. For those of you who did not hear the news, Moggers was the team that was supposed to be in this, but they were caught with current cup players on their roster playing on alts and were therefore forfeited from their previous game, which gave the win to Poop, which is how we are today. We have a loaded commentator box today. Get Up Crazy, like you heard earlier, is here, as well as Carson. So Get Up Crazy, how you doing? How you feeling about this this matchup now?
Doing pretty good. I just wanted to start out with saying I'm pretty sad that Moggers did get busted. You know, I'm glad that Justice System, it worked. They got what they had coming to them. And I do want to take back my previous statement. They are not mogging the competition anymore. I am pretty disappointed. And I would like to say that I am really impressed by Drexen there, not giving a complete decision yet, going back, showing the camaraderie and the teamwork. You know, and it just leaves me thinking what maneuver could possibly be smoother.
That is definitely true. Carson, we're going to go to you. It is first time in the commentator box. Pleasure to have you along. Let's get some thoughts on how you feel like this this current match is going to go.
He's disappeared.
Did he get cold feet? Did he get Carson? Carson, you here? Did his mom walk in or something? What's going on?
Maybe she can give her opinion on this.
Yeah, might have to. Ready when you are. Well, we'll wait for Mr. Zeppin to. He's eating dinner. All right. Well, we'll wait for his arrival. Regardless, we have Get Up Crazy and myself here to give you the best commentary for this match. If we go ahead and take a look at both teams. You have Poop, which found themselves qualified last season, like I kind of stated in the previous parts of the stream. They won and qualified through the losers bracket, but they have a chance to move on today in the final right now. When it comes to the performances on both sides, Get Up Crazy, who do you think is going to give a standout show today?
Well, I don't know if you had acknowledged this, but there are players stepping in, I think, on both sides, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct.
I'm really excited to see Batman, aka Dora La Explorer, play. I do feel he is quite the underrated player. He is best known for his PvP, which doesn't really matter as much in this, but I think that can translate very well to the forcing aspect. And in his previous faction maps that people might not know about, he has been branching out as sort of a patcher, and I'm really excited to watch him play and how he performs in this Faction Cup game.
That is a great point. Get Up Crazy mentioned it slightly there. Let me make sure that okay, this match is starting soon. Oh, the match has started already. Excuse me.
Oh boy.
Just a couple seconds ago, the raid has started. We're getting this underway right now. Let me go ahead and get yourself here real quick. GSP, Get Up Crazy. All right, are you good?
Yes.
All right. So, like Get Up Crazy said, there are a couple players that stepped in to be able to play. Dora La Explorer stepped in for Saturn, and Cheesy XD also stepped in from them. On the other side, Clubby's team, they ended up picking up a player from Moggers, Skilljo, that is, and he is playing with them. So they are working on it right now. Like we mentioned, the start of these matches, it is difficult to really, tell what's going to happen. But, I always think that it's best just to try and get as deep in, as high as you can, as quick as possible. Tell me, Get Up Crazy, from a player's point of view, what is your strategy when it comes to the first, 3 to 4 minutes of a match like this?
Obviously, getting in and getting as deep as you can high is inevitably going to be a strategy at the start of the match. But what some teams have been adapting is a new strategy where they sometimes like to accept the challenge of going low. And it works out. It's a big risk. What it does essentially is it gets the patchers to spread out. And they like to kind of try and split them up, beam low, of course, so they can look for better chords high. But it can be a risk sometimes as it gets those lower chords packed up.
That is definitely true, and they are doing some of that right now. A couple kills come in right at the moment.
TP there.
Yes, give me 1 second. Hold on. Hold on, I need to pause this real quick. Binded or something. Drexler's having some issues spamming his FF at the moment.
He probably has like a FT&T fill or something.
Yeah. Is he here? Why isn't he responding to me? Hold on. I'm gonna be back in 2 seconds. Yo, Drexern. Did you figure it out? Press cancel. Cancel. And then cancel. And then open orbit. And then go to callouts. Try and look up callouts. Yeah, turn that off. I think so. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to start it back in just a second. Okay. All right. We're good. Drexler had a bit of an issue having a auto call out on his thing. Let me go ahead and get rid of this real quick. Sand air / WA. Okay. Should be fine. Okay, we're back into this, and now we are joined by the wonderful ZPN himself. And first off, Carson, what'd you have for dinner? Well, that is good to hear. I'm glad you're eating well, man. Well, we are here with this match underway, about 4 minutes into the match at the moment. Tell me, a key to, winning this as a bit of an adjuster yourself, Carson. What do you find is the most effective adjusting strategy for these, the first third of a match? I don't. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys.
We did not get to hear what Zeppin
Okay.
had for dinner.
Okay,
That's
well,
the most important question.
Zeppin, please explain again real quick what you had for dinner.
So, there's a lot of people that like to say that I eat fast food every single time I eat, which is just not true. So today, I decided to make myself, well, my mother, I'm lying, eat some nice beef and rice, and I just feel like that's good for protein and the carbohydrates if you're like Enrico.
Very, very good point. Well, the next thing, we went to was, what are the keys to adjusting at the first third of, a match like this? Can you repeat what you were saying, Carson?
They're definitely trying out the drop the most strategy, but they're just not making enough progress low to split up the patchers. I think they're just all huddled up high, like just staying high. They definitely need to beam a little bit more high and clear the patches up front because it's still a little bumped up in the middle.
That is definitely some good insight there. I do want to ask, does kills, in a big raid, in a normal type of map type of thing, adjusting once a couple kills come in is very important. In a more
100%.
fast-paced, environment like this, are you able to time that as well, or is it a little harder to wait for a kill to come in and something like that?
So on this type of game mode, you kind of always have to be constantly moving. You can't really like have a cord and wait for someone to get a kill, but definitely timing is important. If you get a kill high, you definitely want to move it high as fast as possible to get as much balls as you can high.
Well, that is definitely something I'd probably agree with. They're continuing to make some progress here. About 3 chunks into this buffer at the moment, making some progress low at 225. Dora finding some use right now. Dora was on the champion team Hemo for season 1, and which, as you can see, the champ tag that he has, he wasn't really able to rotate in at all because, as we've talked about, Hemo's main 4 are pretty stuck together and constant. But we're gonna see what Dora has to offer now as he is trying to fight for a spot to qualify to make the main event at the moment. So get up crazy. How do you think this match has progressed as of now?
From what I'm seeing, I think there's about 13 minutes left. They're about almost near the halfway mark. They're starting to progress a little more deeper at the lower Y, which is what you want to see. But it seems to still be pretty packed high. I haven't really seen them go back up high that much. But as I say that, they are drilling 229. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see with what they're doing here. But I'm liking it a bit.
Yeah, man. I agree. They're making some very steady progress. We did say that being about halfway in at about 13 minutes is where they're exactly going to be. Above, I think, 225 was, kind of my sweet spot for season 1, and that's where they're getting at right now. I think they're on a very good pace at the moment to breach, but we'll see as this continues. We did see our first ever hold of 20 minutes in an open qualifier earlier today, so it is certainly able to be done. Carson, I know you've had some experience playing with Drexern and Rspring on the Psycho PvP network. What are you expecting out of them in this match right now to potentially qualify for a spot to compete in the Cup Season 2?
I'm really excited for Drexler, and I think he's progressed from a long way from Psycho. He's pretty decent patcher. I feel like he can definitely change the game. But Arcspring, he's still got a lot of work to go. I'm excited to see him progress, but it's always good to see a Psycho player like come to comp and do well.
I definitely agree. It is nice seeing some new names around the community. Last map winner, which is Skill Joe, getting some patches off right now and continuing to do so. Splay Basil's trying to get a lot of patches off too, but they are still beaming high. Poop is looking a little different than they were earlier due to some, miscommunication with, them thinking they lost and the forfeit coming in from the Mogger side of things. They didn't have their full true roster on during this time for this championship match. So they're a little bit different than what they were used to seeing. But regardless, they are making this work, making more progress, and seeing what they can do. Any other thoughts, Get Up Crazy, on kind of what you've seen the last couple minutes? They've been a little stalled with their progress right now.
I would like to say what I just saw was very, very well executed. I saw them adjust high just now, and Chud, obviously you can tell there's good communication on the other side. He's patching high, staying high the whole time. But Dora sticking him like glue and gets the kill, and that allows them to beam kind of high, and it's looking a little bit better high. They're starting to focus low again, but I'm still liking it. I'm still buying it on this so far.
And I think the adjuster has to remember there's 20 minutes, so I think like as you can see is like the highest chord is still like 2.5 chunks in. I feel like he needs to get like at least 4 or 5 chunks in to be successful. Like you can beam these 220 chords all day, but you eventually have to get through high.
I think that's very important. In a match like this, you want to be able to have this clear out as much as possible. We saw, not too long ago, the semifinal match before this, a team breached through the entire buffer, got to the base wall, and then got held for 6 straight minutes because they did not have that much open. Before that, we Get Up Crazy and I talked about how you got to kind of go for the kill as early as possible, but in a situation like that, it can also prove to be, a little bit of a disadvantage when, the other team is able to patch up the, limited area once you get deeper a little easier compared to how things are now. So we're going to see how this continues. Dora trying to find some progress coming on through. Last map winner, really expecting Skill Joe to put on a quite the performance, to say the least. What would you say about the pickup of Skill Joe into Poop, to help their chances Get Up Crazy?
Well, I've already said what I said last game and previously. I really like Skill Joe. He's a really good player, and I'm seeing some pretty good things out of him. He's been placing blocks, holding that right click. He has 2 people swinging at him right now. Now he's got 1 Drexler, but he's still getting these patches off, and that's huge in a scenario like this, especially when it's not as widened yet in the back. And I'm really impressed with him so far.
BBM Pin now trying to force Durfaban up through the buffer now, making some more progress high. Is this kind of what you're wanting to see, Carson, adjust-wise?
Absolutely. They have 3 forcing coordinated up high, and it seems like their patchers haven't made it up there yet.
Beautiful.
Saw Durfaban make it up, but they definitely got forced off the shot. This is what you want to see.
Yeah, I think this is showing very strong communications. A reminder, this team was randomly made off of, how the open qualifiers are done. So the fact that they could have this type of communication only playing, this is their 2nd game together, I think is very impressive, to say the least. I did ask Get Up Crazy this a little bit, but Carson, you can comment on it too as well. A team like either of these, do you think they would be able to have any sort of chance to grab a win or 2 off of a current cup team?
I'm not sure. Maybe the other team, but they do have a chance. There's always a chance, but the skill from the big teams is a very big difference in the communications and the team chemistry and the adjusters, stuff like that. So I think it's too big of a skill gap, but they definitely have a chance for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a very important thing to focus on. The main teams, the players that are currently in the cup, not having to go through the open qualifiers, they're used to the big moments more often. They're in those situations that matter. Defending your base when there's only a couple chunks left, and when you're F-top 1 in a map, or defending your box, or things like that. They're used to that. These players aren't as used to it, which can definitely provide a bit of a mental disadvantage when they're going against some of the greats within the community at the moment. But we're seeing some more progress come through now. However, it is a bit halted. 3 chunks off is Saturn at the moment. Definitely seeing some less progress than we were expecting, initially. Get Up Crazy, how do you think this is progressing for them right now?
I usually don't like to disagree with you, but I do have to disagree with you right here. You guys are just talking over, but they were beaming high, and I do think that's huge. They did get to that 4.5 chunk in mark high while you guys are having that conversation, so I do think it's looking a bit better in those past 2 minutes.
Yeah,
100%.
That is definitely true. You know, they got a little bit further in, and that's what it seems like the focus is right now, is just really trying to get, pretty deep, pretty high. They're at 237 at the moment. If I do look down, what Get Up Crazy was talking about, this is a lot clearer than it was just, not too long ago. But they're continuing to try and hold it as best they can. 6.5 minutes remain. I do want to flip this on the other side. When Saturn has to defend, how do you think they're going to fare against Poop, Carson?
So their patchers, they have Drexler, and he's pretty good. He's a good shot chaser, but I'm more worried about their pre-patchers. I think they could get it done, but it's definitely a question for sure.
Yeah, you have to
trying to make it through high right now as well.
You have to have a bunch of different roles going on in order to find the most success. Pre-patching, shot catching, all that type of stuff. What's a good balance of that, Get Up Crazy, for to have people focused on to try and find the most success?
Try and answer that question and keep it pertained to this game. I will say, if you watch Skilljoe, he is doing the perfect job of pre-patching, and what the forcers are really doing wrong is they're not sticking him when he's in the back. When you're forcing, you need to stick these pre-patchers. You got to stick the Kexits, you got to stick the vapings, you got to stick these pre-patchers that block up these 1x1s, and no one's doing that so far, and he's easily just packing it up as soon as they hit fresh.
It'll definitely be interesting to see how the stats look after this, to see if, Skilljoe is the highest patches caught on his team, because it certainly seems like that. They continue to make some progress at 230 now. Skilljoe, like we just mentioned, trying to get some patches off, but when you have Dora on you, that becomes a much more of a tall task, to say the least. Drilling deep now. It seemed like a shot was pretty fresh. Still not super close at the moment. Carson, how has this adjusting been recently? And as I say that, they go over to the wrong split. This is easily a mental mistake that happens more than you would probably expect. But they're back now onto the main split. Well, as I was saying, how has the adjusting been the last couple minutes, Carson, compared to what you might do yourself?
Well, they've been good dropping it low, keeping the patchers separated. They have really good forcers up top, VBMpin and Dora. Those are really good players. But I just haven't, with these high courts, I haven't seen the 245s, the 240s. Like I just only see the 250s, and I feel like spreading it out high is very important. Like, you don't have to get deep as high as the entire high wide, but as you stated, they're hitting brush 216 right now, so.
Very true. Very true. Getting a little deeper, but they're back over to the other court. I'm not sure what's going on here. Let's see right now. I think they're just a bit of a, yes, there just is some gaps between their adjusts, and they're going over there a little more often than they should. 4 minutes remaining. This is becoming a lot more scary for a Saturn point of view. The breach is seeming less and less imminent, per se.
Yeah, this isn't looking too good. They were looking really good, and then progress just halted. And I don't mean to point any fingers, but the forcing could be a little better. And Cheesy, somebody get that guy a manual.
You definitely can see in the second chunk there's some player mined 4 walls, and I think that might be a little bit detrimental for their progress, but.
That could definitely be the case. They make a few fresh shots right through here. They have about, let's call it 14 walls to get through to breach, which on 3, they're back over to the other split, man. This is really halting their progress incredibly. I'm not sure why this has not been fixed yet, unless it's strategic. I'm not really sure. But they only have 3 minutes to go, and they need to make some more progress on this main split. Not what you want to see if you are a Saturn player, to say the least. But they, just like that, they are almost full, fresh very quickly there. So maybe it was a bit of a distraction. I would assume not. But they're going through now. 2.5 minutes remain. We're going to see if they're able to get through this entire buffer.
Oh man, I mean, we got an adjuster in the call. We can ask him, but I feel like these past 5 minutes have just been horrible for Cheesy.
Yeah.
He hasn't really gone high. He's just stayed low the whole time, and it's just bricked. It is just packed. Half the time he doesn't even know what split he's on. It's just not looking too good. It's a really poor performance right now.
And like we were saying a little earlier, they've got about, let's see where they've got into now. They're about, maybe 12 walls away, 3 seconds a wall, 36 seconds in total. That means they have, less than, a minute and a half to really, make progress shots happen. But just like that, they are fresh there, trying to get a few more walls done. Are you seeing any spots that could make some real nice progress, Carson?
With these new adjusters, like with not that much experience, like during Factions Cup, I think they tend to like give up high. Like even with like a minute and 30 seconds, you can easily, while their patchers are spreading out low, you can easily beam a lot high, and that will open up a bunch of patches, and that will get you almost full fresh high as well.
Yeah, they're definitely, could be used there, but under a minute and a half to go now. They are trying to clear as much as they can, as fresh as they can, but they're really just not making a lot of progress now. Dora trying to force their way through. Skilljo doing his best to get some patches caught, but it is definitely looking severely packed up at the moment. It's going to be difficult to try and get a breach. I think at this point you got to just try and go for as many walls deep as you can, and we're going to see if they're going to be able to do that and flip it and then try and maybe breach Poop on the flip side of that.
Kind of adding to what Zeppin just said, I feel like even when you're adjusting high, it doesn't always have to be a 1x1. Like you can adjust into patches to clear patches below it, if you know what I'm saying. And it's so sad to see, because those first 5 minutes when they started really clearing high and got like 5 chunks in high, it was looking really good, and then I don't know what happened, they just fell apart.
Yeah, and when you adjust to those high chords, you also have time to line up like a breach chord or a low chord, like a nice 1x1 where you have time. While this patcher's going and catcher shot 250, it's also clearing patches. There's just a lot of benefits to it as well.
Very true. 16 seconds remaining, trying to get a couple more walls done. They got, let's call it 6 walls that Poop have defended. That is a strong number if they're able to stay like that, and I believe they will. 2 and 1. Let's see what the final count is. It is 6. That means Saturn is going to have to defend 6 or more in order to win, and Poop obviously will win with a breach or getting more walls in than that. How do you think Saturn is going to be able to flip this around and try and find some success, Get Up Crazy?
They're gonna have to put this game behind them. It's gonna be in their heads. I already know in their comms. They're gonna have some pointer pinging. Pointer. What am I saying? Finger pointing. There we go. Sorry. Folded under the pressure. But there's gonna be some finger pointing in the comms, and you gotta put this behind you. You gotta focus on the 20 minutes ahead of you, and you just gotta hold the shot. You gotta forget about all of that.
Very true. It is very important that their communications become very fluid and constant during this defending process, because it is certainly it's very capable to hold more than 6 walls. We've seen teams hold up to 2 chunks of walls in 20 minutes, so certainly possible. But Poop has been in this situation before. Drexer also speaking in chat, which makes sense. He lost to Poop last qualifier in the final of the losers bracket to not qualify for the main thing. So he's trying to change that around, and we are going to see if he does. 2 minutes remaining. We're going to see how this continues to progress. But, Carson, tell me, what should they try right at the start, the first handful of walls from an adjusting point of view?
I think they should definitely try and get as much snake possible, as wide as you can, 7 wide, and bring them low while they're on gap. You don't want to keep them high and basically give their gap a purpose. You want to drop them low, make them drop low, separate the patchers, stuff like that.
Definitely. definitely. We're going to see if they're going to be able to do that. A minute and a half remaining. This could be, you know, very interesting to say the least. Get Up Crazy and Carson after that, for that matter. Which one of these teams would scare you more in the cup if you had to face up against them?
I mean, you can go hand in hand. Skill's just a great player. They have like with the Poop faction, it's a lot about experience as well. They have a lot of team chemistry. They play a lot together. They've been in this Open Qualifier before, but the other faction, it's kind of a new players, but they do have two very very good forces, BBM and Dora the Explorer, which could get some kills and force a pie, which is very important to breaching.
I mean, this might come off as cocky or a little bit egotistical, but I'm looking at these rosters, and I'm not trying to be rude, but none of them really scare me. I don't see much experience here. I don't see that star talent that you really need. Like, obviously, my boy Skilljoe, you know, like that guy, he's my boy. But other than him, I'm just not seeing that star talent. I was really expecting a lot more out of Cheesy, but I guess maybe he'll make it up in this patching, but I don't know.
We will see, to say the least. It looks like the 4 patching for Saturn is Cheesy, R-Spring, Dora, and Drexern. So it looks like, trying to remember who the other player is that is not going to be patching. Let's go ahead and take a look. Pin is not patching. So we'll see how this goes. Skilljoe forcing, Splay Basil's forcing. Let's see who we have on the adjust. We have Durfaban on the adjust. And we'll see how this continues. 19 minutes remain. A minute elapsed. Paul, seeing him for the first time this match, as well as R-Spring. Going to see how both of these teams can manage. When you're patching, you know, at the start, you know, a lot of people say, you know, hitting back at the start is very important. Trying to maybe utilize your gap early. What would you say to that, Get Up Crazy, as far as a good, you know, early strategy to patch?
Obviously you want to time your gapples. I wouldn't want to use them too early, but having one person use it's always pretty good. Hold them high, but there's times that are better to use them, especially when your team has some deaths, and then you always kind of do want to use it early, so then you can use it again. You are able to use 2 god apples in a match if you time it correctly. So they're very important, very underrated.
Very true. Very true. Well, they are making some progress now. Like we said, the important thing and the kind of the sweet spot we found to breach is, you know, being about halfway in, 13 minutes remaining, about 225 and higher. Now, we did just see that on the previous raid attempt, and that didn't end up to be a breach. So maybe we have to change that sweet spot a little bit, but they're definitely trying to make some progress right now. Cheesy getting some patches off at the moment. Splay trying to force him through, as well as Skilljoe following along there. Continuing to make some progress now. Can they make something work? Drexler getting a lot of patches off. As we said, his strategy and his motivation is coming from the fact that this is the team that knocked him out of the qualifier last season. So can we see him enact his revenge, or will we see him drop down to the losers bracket? A reminder, whoever loses this is not done. They go into the second chance. However, if they lose that, they are out, but they will be able to compete for a spot tomorrow regardless of what happens. And if they win one game tomorrow, they will move on. So we're going to see how this continues. It looks like this adjuster is trying to open up the split pretty wide at the moment. Well, what is your opinion on that, Carson?
I definitely like the idea. I wish he would be at like the complete max Y. I'm not really a fan of the 246 because it kind of eliminates the no OS cord, which is very useful for nuking like 250 patches and just beaming like a snipe cord. But I like how he's like managing his time. He realizes he has 20 minutes, and def opening up is a big thing. But opening up front, it really isn't that important. It's more the fresh cords that you want to stop them from pre-patching here. And
a kill comes in. Drexern slain by Splay Basils. continuing to make some progress now. Not a lot of resistance from Saturn at the moment. R-Spring getting a lot of patches off. We're going to see what he can do. This is the first time we've seen R-Spring in this tournament, in a qualifier in general, and he is on the biggest stage right now, trying to earn a spot in the main event, but Poop is continuing to make work happen and get further and further into this buffer.
Hi Tom, would you be able to spectate us?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. Completely forgot about that. GMSP, get up crazy. TP, Zeppin, high top. GMSP, Zeppin. Alright, are both of y'all good?
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Well, they are continuing to make progress now at 2:36. Pull trying to force his way through. This is the first time we've seen Pull in the tournament as well. In general, Cheesy, we saw last time his team was the team to qualify first through the Open Qualifiers and move on to the main event. So let's see how they can continue doing. Durfaban trying to get some cords, it seems. Drexern holding it down at the moment. Splay getting some well done forcing through, but they're continuing to hit fresh and hit high right above a Skill Joe's head.
I will say it's two very interesting adjusting strategies going head to head. You see Alfred, I assume that's Alfred, I don't really know, Durfaban. He's a lot more methodical in his adjusting. He takes his time, whereas Cheesy, he was like adjusting it constantly. It's kind of nice to watch the difference between the two of them.
I will say both teams do not have the adjuster that they had in the previous match. So some of this could be altered due to that fact. You know, both these adjusters not very experienced with adjusting on the Factions Cup, which, like Carson, you said, you know, that's really what this comes down to. You know, talk to how important experience adjusting on this type of game really shows to.
I mean, I feel like the most important time is just, or the important moment is just time management. I feel like that's the biggest part. It's not about how fast or how like good you are at finding chords. I mean, that's obviously a big factor, but just knowing how much time you have and where to go, spread out the patterns, and it definitely plays a big role. I mean, you see them opening up at 2-2-3 here. I don't necessarily agree with that chord, but I definitely think you should get a little bit higher here. But they are beaming low at the moment, so I mean, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. So
very, very true. Up to 238 now, making a lot of progress. They are trying to. They are past that halfway mark, and it is not yet 13 minutes remaining, and they are very high. So this is, according to what we saw last season, a sweet spot to be able to achieve a breach. But we're going to see what happens, because like it is shown in a lot of adjusters, not just on the cup, but on maps in general, when it comes down to breach, that's when things can get a lot sketchier. But as we're looking here, anything below 215 just looks very clear and not very packed up. I think it's going to be very difficult for Saturn to hold this for the rest of the 14 minutes remaining. They're going to have to get some communications going about who is pre-patching and who is blocking up what they can.
Very good point about communication. I'm just not seeing the organization there for the patchers here. I feel like the other team put on a much better display of teamwork and spreading out, whereas I'm watching like 2 to 3 people at the same time just shot chase, and it's kind of confusing, and that's probably leaving me wondering why they're being beamed. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, and especially in the previous raid phase, you know, when we saw that communication come through about them forcing and going high, we gave them some praise for that communication, but this is showing the fact that they are, you know, a randomly put together team. You know, their communication is not quite to the level of Poops, it seems, who have been playing not just the Cup, but other factions maps together very recently and frequently. So we're going to see how this continues. Splay Basils getting some hits off on Cheesy XD, who is catching the best he can. Officially less than 3 chunks remaining. 12 minutes to go. From a Saturn point of view, Carson, how are they going to be able to patch this up and try and hold to win this match?
In order to hold, they're definitely going to need to spread out their shot chasers. Like I said before, I feel like they have a good shot chasing, I feel like they're good at shot chasing, but the pre-patchers, like the people that are going to be ready to catch those low boards, feel like they a little bit struggle I feel like they just have the tendency to like go to the shot, but that's not how you patch on this. You definitely want to spread your patchers out. Like you see Drexler catching front wall. Nobody else should be on this chord right now. You should be placing blocks everywhere else. You should get ready for the next chord, maybe a high chord next, but.
It's very, very true. I think that's a very, you know, important thing to think about. When one of your players is catching the shot, you don't exactly need to send everybody to it. You know, he's probably going to hold enough that chord is not going to do a ton of damage. So you want to clear and pack up as much as you can with else. Get up crazy. What do you think about the fact that there is a lot open low that's not being used right now?
I don't. It's quite interesting. It's two different perspectives and two different ideologies in adjusting, as you can tell. But I don't know. I'm seeing a lot more confidence in this adjusting. They are staying high. They are just beaming. And while Zeppin was talking about splitting up, they were drilling them around 2-4-3. And I think that these high chords will end up getting them the win if they can keep beaming them like they are.
I agree. I think we're seeing a lot more high coordinates being adjusted to than we did on the previous raid phase that Saturn was raiding. But, you know, they're holding decently right now. Halfway into the timer, not a lot of progress has been made since that 14-minute mark. But at the same time, I just haven't seen a lot of, you know, going for the kill shot adjusts that would really be hitting fresh immediately.
And I'm not sure if it's them missing their chords or I'm not sure what's up, but they're definitely not hitting insta-fresh chords, which is very important. They should be adjusting to like 215 and then hitting like the freshest high chord you can find. You should definitely want to spread them out at this point in time.
I agree. It seems like they're getting to a couple cores that are just a couple shots from fresh, but as I say that, they are full fresh at 241, doing a lot of damage here. Cheesy trying to get up to the shot, needs to place a couple blocks because that is important. They clear so much low right there, and as we can see, it is really just a ravine looking down from about 210 and below. This is going to be very hard to hold from a Saturn point of view, but it is certainly doable, as we did see Saturn, you know, when they were forcing somebody, hold the team they were forcing, they held on base wall for 6 minutes. But it is so important to get a lot of blocks placed low in order to prevent those fresh chords from happening.
I mean, again, with what we just saw, it just exemplifies again the lack of organization and teamwork between this patching squad. They go high, and they're just beaming fresh, and there's nobody pre-patching high. And sometimes you don't even need to be using these low chords if no one's going to sit high. So I think that's why we're not seeing a lot of instant giga fresh adjusts low, because there's really no need for it right now. They are about 2 chunks off already. It's like, what, 10 minutes left? 8 minutes?
8 minutes and just a little bit of change remaining, and just like Get Up Crazy said, 2 chunks away. This is doable to hold, but not probable, I would say. We're going to see how this continues. They need to block up a lot low in order to try and find a win here. Drexern, we did see a lot of Drexern last season be that type of guy to block up a lot of the shots low and get a lot out. But when he's doing this and not placing anything, that is not good from a Saturn point of view. A fresh chord right here. 213. Another sand wall is down. Less than 2 chunks remaining, and that's another wall. It seems like it is just a matter of time until Poop is going to be able to breach Saturn and move on to the main event, but we will see how this continues. Zeppin, if you were adjusting in this scenario, are you going for the kill right here, or are you trying to make some more progress high?
Absolutely not. I think there's just so much time to secure a breach. Going low this early could definitely mess you up, but if you get a couple kills, maybe if you kill 1 or 2, you can definitely beam a chunk low. But right now, I'd probably just go high, clear some patches, like, and bring it back down. But
the good insight there. I think that is, you know, important. You know, you don't want to go low and you know, attack too quickly. For the fact of the matter being that, you know, you could get held up very easily if you do not breach, you know, when you do. But in this type of scenario, when you have so much open, you know, you're really just waiting at this point. I think if you are Poop, as Carson said, you have so much time remaining. There's no need to waste those cords yet. You just want to try and get as deep in as, you know, as high as you can. And then once it becomes a little more dire to breach with only a handful of time left, then it could make sense to use some of those killer cords. But we're gonna see what Saturn's able to do and what they're able to pack up. But get up crazy. Who have you been seeing do well on Saturn's side, and who do you need to see something better from?
Man, I need to see a lot of them do better. I've been seeing a lot of solo missions from these patchers, and I do want to remind people that the patching team didn't even breach them, so these adjusters and these forcers, they can take their time. They don't have to breach to win. So I think they definitely could get a lot deeper right now. There are so many fresh chords that I'm looking at, but it's just a matter of how patient you want to be.
Very true. The previous total that Poop defended was about 6 walls, which is about to this mark right here. They've got about 5 walls until that mark is hit, but plenty of available real estate. Low, it seems. All Saturn has to do is get some patches done there, and it looks a little harder, but it's not really going to do a lot right now when they are just beaming very high. They need someone on this shot. I don't think it's going to happen. They are continuing to make a lot of progress. R-Spring getting hit away from the shot, placing a couple blocks now, doing the best he can. We're going to see at some point, is it going to be a matter of getting breached or having walls left to defend? Drexler falling all the way down. That is not what you want to see. Back to 212, making some more progress. Cheesy really showing a lot. We've seen a lot of him so far, getting a lot of patches off. I think people need to really start trying to listen to Cheesy and have him command the patching squad, to say the least.
I do agree with that. I think a huge thing in patching is having an impactful leader who can command the troops, can be able to calm these things out. And Cheesy, really good player, but playing with him past experiences, I know he's very well soft-spoken, and I think if he does want to see his teams have more success here, he does need to take that leadership role. I
agree. Sometimes you need someone to step up and make their voice heard, but they are beaming at 205. One of those super fresh cores. Cheesy's on it, though. They are officially to the sand wall. They's got to get some more patches done. They are getting a couple more shots in very low. That's not going to count against their wall total. So it is going to be interesting how this goes. 4 minutes remaining and a little bit of change. They are currently 8 walls defended. This is going to come down maybe a little closer than we might have thought. But we'll see. Drexler trying to get some patches off. Last map winner, Skilljo, that is, trying to find someone to force. But right now you got a 2v1 in the back. Cheesy get a full wall in. That is incredibly important. 224 right now, though, trying to get almost full fresh, and they are. Who can catch this in the front of the buffer? I'm not really seeing anybody. This is going to be very bad from a Saturn point of view. Almost to the 1 chunk off at that mark, but not quite.
I don't know. It's kind of looking a little better for Cheese. I'm not seeing the aggressiveness that I would hope to see right now from the forcing team. But as I say that, hitting fresh 213, but it's about to be caught by Dora. But I would expect a bit more aggressiveness here. There's about 3 minutes left. You're still a chunk off, but I'm not going for just a win. I'm going for a breach in this scenario.
Definitely. Go ahead, Carson.
I just wanted to say, like, for the past 5 minutes, they haven't had like a lot of pressure fresh, which is making them place a ton of blocks. I mean, they are fresh 200, but it does seem to be caught.
Exactly.
They had that 20. Oh wow. They had a time where it was caught 220, and it just sat there for almost a minute straight, and it just had so many players placing blocks everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, very good point. I think the aggressiveness that we were expecting is not being shown at the moment. Cheesy trying to get some patches off. He's got a full wall a little bit of this because right now they are 1 wall less defended than Poop. So they're going to have to get some full walls done if they want to win this. But right now it's more about catching the shot. I think they got to try and send a lot of people low, try and catch as much as they can, but they got to patch this up. They got to remember it's not just about getting breached. They have to have enough walls to defend the final total, and there is not a lot to place here in order to get a full wall done. They are back to 206. Haven't seen a lot of R-Spring recently. We need to see something special from him potentially. And they are back 212. This is going to be very bad. Very bad for Saturn, but not quite all the way through. Getting held up front. All they need is a little bit of patches. This could come down to a tiebreaker potentially. 2 minutes remaining. They got to hold this shot fresh. I think they are, on the poop side of thing, they might be panicking a little bit, trying to get some fresh chords, and in turn, just adjusting to things that are easily caught.
Exactly like you guys were saying, there's not a lot of pressure. Cheesy right now, it does have splay on him, but for the people watching that don't know, full patching can put your wall total back up. So if they do breach that wall, but you full patch it back to the emerald block, you do gain that wall back, and I think that's huge right now, as I've just seen Cheesy full patch 2 walls uncontested until splay got on him.
Very true. That has put their total back in front of Poop by 1 wall, I believe. We will see how this goes. Cheesy is patching it up as best as he can. Back to 203. They're hitting a lot of patches off. Are hitting a lot of patches with that shot. A minute remaining now, coming down to 197, trying to get some patches broken high. It's not going to be high enough though, but they could still try and breach at that cord. This is going to come down to the wire. 58 seconds remaining. They got to find a cord a little higher in order to break a wall. Now a shot right here, that's going to get rid of 2 walls.
Good adjust.
That is really bad. Another wall broken. This is going to be very, very bad for Saturn. Cheesy's on the shot. He's got to catch it first, and then he's got to try and full wall. 39 seconds remaining. He's got to try full wall something. Is he going to have enough time to get enough full wall? I don't know if he will, to be honest. Gets a wall there. Can he get a wall in front as well?
Nice.
He's got to get down. He's got to get some help. I don't think they're going to have enough time. 26 seconds remain. Drexler trying to get to the back. There's another wall full walled here. Another one there. They're going to try and get this done. 18 seconds remaining.
We got it.
It's shot. It's shot. It's fresh. 14 seconds remain. Who is going to make this shot win? Back through 11 seconds. I don't think they're going to have enough. 8 seconds to go. Who is going to win this? Drexler trying to get a couple patches off. Can he get enough? I don't think he will. It's going to come right down to the wire. 6 walls defended from Team Red. How many from Blue? 3. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
What a match.
Wow.
What a performance. Oh my goodness. I think that might be the best match that we have seen in general of the Factions Cup. Holy cow, that came down to the wire. Cheesy XD with almost an heroic play, but that cord that they found that broke several walls was the dagger. What a performance.
Man, I don't know if everyone saw that, but when Cheesy got those full patches off, congrats to him, but he did unfortunately connect those walls. So when they were hitting fresh, they beamed like 2 walls twice, and that really caused them to lose that match.
That was incredible, to say the least. Let's see if we can get a post-match comment/interview from Clubby. Let's see what we can do. Let me see if I can get a hold of him. Interview ? All right, let me go ahead and get Clubby in and see what he has to say. What an exhilarating match. Clubby, congratulations on the win. Holy cow, that might be just the best match that we've seen across all of the Factions Cup. How was that final 2 minutes in your communications, and how did y'all feel at that point?
Very stressful. A lot of words being said, trying to find the fresh chord. They did a really good job. They pushed us back a few walls. It was very neck and neck. So we're lucky that our adjuster found that very deep chord at 205, and it really saved us the match. It was very stressful.
That was incredible, to say the least. Y'all, Cheesy was able to get some full patches off, and then y'all were able to break them right after that, not too far after. What was your thought when Cheesy was able to get several full walls off to potentially move their total ahead of yours?
Our thought was it's kind of almost over there. We were kind of cooked because, can't do much with 30 seconds after it's getting full walled. So we're very lucky. Again, Pablo found that 205 chord, started breaking it, and then the mentality, we all had to go back there and force. So,
yeah, that is incredible, to say the least. Carson or Get Up Crazy, anything that you'd like to ask, Clubby, on how the match went?
Yeah, I actually have 2 questions for you, Clubby.
send them.
You said you were talking about words being flown. You came into this call kind of out of breath. Were some of those words coming from you?
Yeah, a lot of the words. The last few minutes there, yelling everyone go fresh. On pre-patching is quite loud. My mother's probably gonna be quite mad at me right now, but it's all for the greater good.
That's good to hear. Good to hear that you're taking quite the leadership role. And then I would also like to ask, not to try and cause some beef between you and the team, how do you feel about those adjusts? Do you think that they were a little bit not aggressive enough? I was seeing some passive adjusts.
I mean, for it being his first time adjusting, our adjuster decided to go play Mine Curse or something. I don't fucking know.
Oh, wow.
Oh boy.
He was too busy on Mine Curse, so we had Pablo on Falcon Client, so we had no ping.
Oh boy.
no ping adjust, no whatever, but he still pulled through. Did quite a good job. So we're proud of him.
He got it done at the end of the day. That was, last season we didn't see a single Open Qualifier team hold for the entire 20 minutes, and just in that match alone, both teams held their base for the full 20 minutes. What a performance. Clubby, good luck in the official tournament now. We will surely talk more in the future, but congratulations on moving on.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.
All right, let's see if we can get some words from Cheesy real quick. Almost the match MVP. All right, Cheesy is in the call. Cheesy, man, unfortunate end there, but man, what an ending. What a match. We saw you pull off heroic full walls to potentially give your team the total walls defended to win. What happened right there at the end that allowed them to get just a few more walls through to end up winning that match?
I low-key don't even know. I full walled till the last sand wall, so there were 8 walls off. And then for some reason, when I was getting forced by I don't even know, skill drill or whatever, they beamed 6 walls for some reason. And then I told everyone to just everyone come low and just try and full wall it. I low-key thought we had it, but there was like a block or two missing in the last few walls that didn't count. So
yeah, it was very close, and we really thought for a second there that you pulled off the MVP play to get that done. But just like you said, man, it was uncontested shooting at that one coordinate that got them all the way through. I mean, you kind of filled in a spot for your team here. How do you feel like the team performed overall? This does not knock you out of the tournament completely. You have another chance tomorrow, and if you just win one game tomorrow, you move on into the main event. How are you feeling about your team's chances in that?
I mean, I don't even know really. I was just doing my own thing, telling people where to patch and go. Cause at the last 3-4 minutes, I said 3 people should be low trying to catch it, because they probably weren't gonna breach, but they were trying to get 6 walls less. So we were trying to full wall it and whatnot. I was not expecting this. It's been a while since I've played the craft, so
I feel it.
Yeah, I don't know about my team, but we'll see.
I feel it. Well, good luck in tomorrow's game. Hopefully y'all are able to find a W there and move on to the main event. But very, very clutch performance. Almost got your team the win. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that is going to wrap it up from us today. Get Up Crazy, any closing thoughts on the performances you saw today?
I would just like to point out, we were talking about this earlier. In the first Open Qualifiers, you had said that no one had held, and now we're watching these games and we're seeing 20-minute holds left and right. And I think that's really showing the community and the players that are logging on and practicing their game. And it's really nice seeing a lot of people improving and getting better at the game. Very true. That is what this is for at the end of the day. An easy way to work on your skills as a factions player. And the good news is we have another pack day tomorrow of the lower bracket for the Open Qualifier to decide our final winner and whoever moves on into that second Open Qualifier spot for the main event. So appreciate everybody for tuning in today. Thank you to Carson and Get Up Crazy joining me in the booth, and we'll have some more action for y'all tomorrow.